Christians say that Messiah is God's son. They also say that the Messiah is God himself. How can it be? God is one. Yeah, it's true that God is one, but the word echad mean in Hebrew, it can have multiple parts to it. It doesn't say one does not necessarily mean three either, okay? In the book of Nehemiah, it says that all of Israel stood in front of God, and there were many, many of them. One does not have to mean one. It doesn't have to mean three. It doesn't have to mean 5 or 55. The word one can have multiple pieces to it that make one piece. According to Psalm 2, specifically, verse 7, it says this, to answer this Joe's question briefly. It says, B'ni ata ani hayom yaldaticha. It says that the Messiah will come and he will have the authority to speak about the law of Hashem, to give a further understanding to the law of Hashem. And he says to the Messiah in that day, you are my son, and I give you birth. Well, first of all, there is a great remez here. There is a great remez to the word yaldaticha. How is the Messiah will come to the world? He's going to come to the world in a supernatural state. According to verse 2 of this chapter, the Messiah will be called here the Son. He will be called the Son of God. And in this case, it says here, and according to verse 6, that this Son, and it's important when you not think about the Son in the same terms that Christianity think about son. When you talk about son, it's talking about a closeness of sons in this term of authority, heavenly authority. He's not talking about a physical son. He's talking about the fact that when Yeshua say, I am the Father are one, he did not say that there is no distinction between him and the Father, but they said that in essence they are from the same kishke in essence, and what authority the Father has, he has given to him in essence. Here God said the reciprocal in verse 6, he said, I will put my king on Mount Zion. This is my holy mountains. He says Melech. Well, it's interesting that according to Psalms chapter 45 verse 7 and 8, it says that God and God alone will have his seat forever and ever. Well, God says here that he's going to give his seat to his son. Well, his son is the term that called Ben Elohim. This is a term that called Ben Elohim. This is not a term that I use. It's a term that God is used. We see the same term used in Psalm 110 verse 1. It says that he will be sitting to the right hand of Hashem. Remember when we looked in the past through various interpretations, where the sages themselves said that the Messiah, there will be 2 thrones. According to Daniel 7, there will be 2 thrones in the heavenly, one for Hashem and one for the Messiah, and he will be sitting with a heavenly throne. The Messiah will be sitting in a heavenly throne. Well, let's ask the question. If Messiah himself is not the Son, why does he have a throne in the heavenlies? If God is truly a jealous God, then he would not share it. In verse 11 and 12 of the same chapter, Psalm 2, it says that we will kiss the Son, so we will not, in essence, so he will not be angry at us and we will lose the way. He said, blessed those who take refuge of him. Well, let's ask the question. If we take a refuge in anything except to Adonai himself, aren't we part of idol worship? Well, friends, it says that we are to take refuge not in Hashem, but in his Son. Because the Son had the authority to forgive sin. That is the importance of this message. The term, in closer, the term Ben Elohim mentioned in another place, in Proverbs chapter 30. In the great wisdom of Shlomo HaMelech in the book of Mishlei. When it starts with this, let's just look at what Shlomo had to write. He said, the words of Egor ben Yakeh, it's a man named, and Ne'uma Gever, he gave a speech, Le'itiel ve'ochal. Nobody really know who Itiel and Ochal here in Proverbs chapter 30, verse 1 through 4. Most people, most theologians believe that it's talking about his children. And here is what the father says to his children. Ki ba'ar anochi me'ish velo binat adam li. He says, I am a simple man in essence, and I have no special intelligence in essence. No special intelligence on the earthly level. But then he said, Lo lomati chachma v'da'at kedoshim eda. He said, I did not learn, I'm not a studied man, but I listened to the Kodesh, to the da'at kodesh, and I would know the Holy One of Israel in essence. And then he asked this question in verse 4. He says, Mi ala hashamayim ve'yarad. Who went to the heavens, went up to the heavens and went down? Mi asaf ruach bechavnav. Who has took the winds and the hurricane and the cyclones and the tornado all to himself? Who is the Lord over all the winds? And he asked those questions as a rhetorical questions. He says, Mi tzarar mayim basimla. Who took all the oceans and the rivers in the world? Who have taken all of those things and responsible for all these things? And then he asked, Mi kim kol hafsei haaretz. Who is creator of heaven and the earth, everything in the heaven? And then he asked the question, Ma shemo, what is his name? And Ma shem beno ki teda. He asked him, do you know, my children, what is his name, the Lord that created all things, and what the name of the Son? In essence, he says, if you do not know the answers for those questions, you're missing the basic answer to life. Because all the questions, the answers is rhetorical. The answers are Adonai himself. And here he's used the word beno. Beno is a word that is a possessive word. His son, the son of me, the son of Hashem. It is true that the son of Adonai sometimes means of Israel. But as you can see on this case, in the Remez, it's talking about Hashem himself. Israel, if we use the term Israel is not the creator of heaven and earth. Israel and the Jewish people are not the creators of oceans or the winds. No, it's not us. It can never be us ourselves. It's interesting that the same term Ben Elohim used in different places, like in Yochanan 3:16, Ephesians chapter 4, verse 9 and 10 in the Brit HaChadashah, to bring this concept to light.